Hey there, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good, and I'm so glad that you are able to join me for this little update. It's been a couple of years, and I have an interesting story to tell once again. So about 4 weeks ago on a Saturday morning, waiting for Fred, my husband, to come home, I see a car pull up in my driveway. I thought, that's weird. I'm not expecting anybody. Immediately I thought, well, maybe somebody's lost and they think this is their friend's house, whatever. Two people get out of the car. They come to the front door. I open the front door, and it's two Jehovah's Witnesses that I happen to know very, very, very well. Known them for 20 plus years easily. Very nice married couple. I'm not going to give out their name. They found me. Nobody knows where I live, but now they do. So the nice person that I am, because they are very lovely people, I don't blame any Jehovah's Witness for the rules and regulations and the conduct and all of that stuff that goes with the Jehovah's Witness organization. I don't blame any of them because I was one of them myself. I didn't know any better. So anyway, I invite them in. They wanted to invite me to the memorial that was 2 weeks away, and also to the special talk that's always given. It's a special talk that's always given 1 week prior to the memorial. And that was the very next Sunday. And they wanted me to know about the new wonderful things that the governing body, by means of Jehovah God, has done to improve their organization, their cult, their religion, whatever you want to call it. I had already been updated about these new things, so I just let them talk. But the main thing that they wanted, that the husband brought out, was that men now are permitted to have beards. Now, back in Bible times, that was very common. And Jehovah's Witnesses have always had the stance through the years that they didn't want to be a part of the world. They wanted to look different, separate, clean cut. And they felt that having a beard, even for a short time, for men to have a mustache, was really not appropriate, or didn't have a good look to them. It kind of made them look like they were like everybody else. So he tells me this, and of course I already knew, and my mind was going crazy. I asked them, I said, well, how do you think that's going to make all the men from 50 plus years ago feel that we're not allowed to have any position of responsibility or in the congregation, like an elder or ministerial servant, like the big fellas in the local congregations? They were not allowed to have that position at all if they had beard. Big no-no. Big no-no. So I posed that question to him. I said, how do you think that's going to make all those men back in the day, who probably were very upset, maybe they left the organization for that reason because they thought it was ridiculous? How do you think that's going to make them feel now, after this huge change that suddenly Jehovah God has said it's okay now for men to have beards? The husband could not answer my question. Could not answer it at all. As a matter of fact, he kind of made like a look on his face like, that's a good question. Like if he was thinking that for himself, how would I feel if all these years we've been told that's a big no-no, it's a big no-no. So I asked him, I said, why the big change? Oh, well, we're just trying to, make things better, and it's become normal now for men to have beards. It's more customary. It's become more socially acceptable for men to have beards. Well, there again, what happened to Jesus' words that they always preached to be no part of the world? Jesus said he wanted his followers to be no part of the world. Now, because it's socially acceptable for men to have beards, it's okay. So I let them continue to talk. They also informed me, and it's funny, just the day before I had saw a funny meme about this other change, that women now are permitted to wear pants to the Kingdom Hall, aka church. They're allowed to wear pants now. Well, why this change all of a sudden? It made me so mad. I was trying to be kind. I really wanted to dive in, but I was kind of offset, first of all, by them showing up at my house out of the blue. Was not expecting them at all. So I really wasn't mentally prepared to have that kind of conversation with them about the things that I know. And I would love to have helped them see for themselves what kind of organization that they are in. And maybe the little bit that I did say to them got them thinking. But I said, why all these changes? And in my mind, I know the answer. They are losing members right and left. Their numbers, as far as a whole worldwide, has dropped drastically. Probably one of the main reasons why it's dropped drastically is because of the CSA, the crimes against children that a lot of their members have committed and gotten away with. Some of them they have not gotten away with, and you can read about it in the news. There have been many court cases where Jehovah's Witnesses has lost millions and millions of dollars because of their stance on that. But I'm not going to get into that. So then, it's Jehovah this out of their mouths, Jehovah that, and I'm throwing in Jesus, 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 because they have steered, their focus has gone away from the sacrifice of Jesus Christ and the importance of Jesus' life and the example that he left for us as humans, the perfect example, whether you believe in him or not. And it's all Jehovah this, Jehovah this, Jehovah this. And new light. There's Jehovah has given us new information, and that's why they're making these changes. That's not why they're making these changes. It really isn't. It just isn't. And it's really sad, and I find it comical and ironic, and it makes my heart happy that they're having to go to such lengths to get their members back. So then they tell me that if you are disfellowshipped, a disfellowshipped person, and you come back to the Kingdom Hall, that depending on the other members in the congregation's Bible-trained conscience, if you feel comfortable saying a greeting to them, go right ahead. Go. It's okay now. You can do it. Whereas before, disfellowshipped, you weren't even allowed to say anything to them, whether in the Kingdom Hall or out in public somewhere, you weren't allowed to say anything at all. Nothing, not a word. Really shouldn't even look at him, make eye contact. And even if you weren't disfellowshipped, if anybody has listened to my story from a couple of years ago, they still shun you and ignore you and treat you like garbage. But now it's okay. It's okay. Once again, what is the reason behind this? They're trying to change their ways to become a more loving and kind cult. Could be because they're losing members. They're losing so many members. So they stayed for about 30 minutes. My husband came home and they met my husband. The very next day, he left me a voicemail. He asked me for my number, which he had my number in his phone this whole time. Oh, I asked him, how did you find me? How did you know where I lived and even find my last name? Because my last name is not my maiden name anymore. That's how you knew me. So how did you find me? So the husband tells me that one of the main elders in his congregation, along with him, he's an elder too, this husband that came over with his wife, we're going through some of their records, some of their paper records, which they do keep paper records. They were told to destroy them. Maybe if it had incriminating evidence against them, they were destroyed. But anyway, somehow they came across my name, and I still don't know how they found my home address to where I am, because it doesn't match my old last name. It matches my new last name. But I know the Jehovah's Witnesses, I wouldn't be surprised if they have some sort of app or contract with one of these little services that you can find people on. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So the elder that came across my name randomly, which I find very suspicious, is no other than the elder that told me to my face that I had a wicked heart. And it's the elder that disfellowshipped me in that horrible thing that happened to me. None other than him. Couldn't believe it. And I know he knows who I am. I know. But anyway, so he had this other elder come with his wife to visit me. Just random. So just this past week, I noticed a piece of mail addressed to my stepdaughter, her name. Addressed to her, to my home address. Okay? And inside was a tract. How do you view the future? With a poor crying little girl looking at a sad plant, and will our world, what does it say? Will our world stay the same, get worse, get better? And it's, you open it up and it's got scriptures and stuff like that, and, trying to encourage people, to look to a brighter future. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't think you should use religion as a means to do that. I've learned better than that. And then this long letter, pre-printed, front and back, long letter to my stepdaughter, from none other than that elder, the one that told me I had a wicked heart. His name is right here, his address, his phone number. I saw it there, and My husband, he almost threw it away, and he says, I thought I'd leave it for you to look at. And I came home from work to this. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What's going on here? First of all, how did they get her name to my address? It's kind of creepy. And this is an old man. He's probably in his 70s. What is he doing writing to a 20-year-old little girl, young lady? What is he doing sending her a letter with his phone number? Please reach out. I'd love to talk to you. I'm sorry. That's not appropriate. Whether you have good intentions, it's still not appropriate. You don't bypass parents and the parents to get to the child for whatever purpose. It's just, I feel it's wrong. But the past month since all of this started has been nonstop. So not only did the elder and his wife come and visit me, and then he reached out again. Then I got another random phone call from another elder in the same congregation reaching out to me. I was at work and I saw his name come up because I try to keep their names in my caller ID so that I don't accidentally answer and then I get stuck on the phone with them. But so I didn't answer. He didn't leave a message, but I know why he was calling. Because he probably had a little conversation with the elder and his wife about their visit with me, and he wanted to reach out. And then from another old friend of my family, the day of or the day before the memorial of Jesus Christ's death, which is the only thing that Jehovah's Witnesses celebrate. I'm sure I've mentioned that before. He left me a lengthy text message saying he still loves me and he still cares about me, and it's all the new stuff that they're trying to put out there to try to win people back kind of thing. Like inviting me to the memorial, don't forget, blah, blah, blah. And on that subject of the memorial, all my life as a Jehovah's Witness, they were very, very strict on when the memorial was to be held because they followed what Jesus said in the scriptures, that to keep doing this in remembrance of me. And the memorial, the Passover that he had, the meal that he had with his disciples before the day he died, it was on the date of Jewish calendar Nisan 13. He died on Nisan 14. Well, they always celebrated the memorial of Christ's death on the Passover night, after sundown, Nisan 13. I don't know how many years they have changed it. Now they just pick one random Sunday. And this year it was 1 week before Easter. And it's got me questioning, why? Why did they change it? And so I asked a friend of mine on Facebook, who is kind of a Jehovah's Witness, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't think she was ever baptized, but she had put out an invitation on Facebook to the memorial. So I asked her, I said, why is it not on Nisan 13? Oh, well, it's supposed to be done now, after the first full moon of the spring equinox. That's not what the scriptures say to do. That's not what Jesus said to do. It's not supposed to be after the first spring equinox. It's supposed to be on Nisan 13, according to the Jewish calendar. So actually, and Nisan 13 happens to be this weekend, this coming April 22nd or 23rd, I forgot. So technically the memorial should be celebrated this coming weekend. Today is April 16th, So it's supposed to be in another 6-7 days. So it's just got me, all of these new things that they're doing, these changes that they're making, has really got me questioning once again what's going on with them. And it makes me even more confirmed in my resolution to never, ever be a part of any kind of man-made religion. I just can't, because they all follow a man or men, and they're not following Jesus or God. They're not, because they're making up all these rules and changing their old rules to new rules just because, so they can get members back again. Men can wear beards. Women can wear pants. You can talk to people who are shunned or disassociated or disfellowshipped. Who would have ever thought that they would change that rule? Never, 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 never. And they're going against their own Bibles. So please, anybody who is listening, who is not a Jehovah's Witness or has questions, please don't be entrapped in their promises of this, that, and whatever, because it's just a trap. They're not teaching you Bible truths. They're not teaching you truths at all. I hate to say it. I never thought I'd be saying those words ever, but there is no truth to anything that they say, sadly, especially when they keep changing their rules. You know, before you couldn't ever have a blood transfusion. Now you're allowed to have blood fractions. Well, where does it say in the Bible? Where does it say blood fractions are allowed? Doesn't talk about that. Again, they're just making stuff up. They're trying not to lose members because they're losing them right and left, and it makes me so happy, so happy. And another thing about the memorial, they used to have, because the attendance was open to everybody, not just Jehovah's Witnesses, but anybody who wanted to come from the street, off the street. You could walk in, you could come. And it used to be thousands, locally used to be thousands of people would attend the memorial, and they would have to rent larger places because the Kingdom Halls didn't have enough seating to fit that many people at one time. So they'd have to rent, small auditoriums and things like that. Now the memorial that they just had was in their Kingdom Hall. That doesn't tell you anything. I don't know what does. But they're losing people, and I'm so happy. I'm sorry, but I'm so happy. Because I hope by them losing people that those people have awakened to what the facts are about this religion, and they're able to follow their own path of spirituality. Because once you follow your own path of spirituality, not being religious, because religions divide people, they don't bring people together. Once you find that beautiful spirituality that is down deep inside in your heart and in your soul, the freedom that you feel and the ease of stress and tension on serving your Creator becomes so beautiful, so peaceful. I've never experienced such inner calm and peace in my whole life since leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses. So I hope if you have any questions, you'll leave any comments or questions in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And please give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, if you enjoyed this video. And I love you guys. And if I have any more updates, I will definitely be back on. Love you guys. Bye.